one driver class. Every browser has one driver class. So all these browsers are implementing the WebDriver interface methods. So that means WebDriver is an interface. That interface methods are implemented in each browser class. Each browser class. So in order to this is the procedure how you can write the code. This is the one. See that? Let me show you here. So WebDriver is an interface. So this WebDriver is implemented in by Chrome browser, Chrome driver class. Let me give you browser and class. Edge driver class. Safari driver class. Firefox driver class. See, if you observe here, just a driver keyword for your browser it is adding. Chrome browser, Chrome driver. Edge browser, Edge driver. Safari driver, Firefox driver. Opera driver. So these are all browsers. Opera driver. So these are the browser classes. So all these classes are implementing the WebDriver methods. So that means Chrome driver implements WebDriver. But all this, the parent class is remote WebDriver. I'll give you all this later in detail, but these are the classes. So if you want to run your test case on particular browser, first you have to create interface on the left side and their reference variable equal to, and you create object for that browser class. That is, I want to run my browser on the Chrome browser. So, and I'm creating object for Chrome driver. So if you want to identify, this is the browser reference now. Now driver is the browser reference. Chrome driver means the Chrome browser reference. So whichever the browser you are creating, that will be a driver will be that browser reference. Now you need to use this reference variable to call the method, that is to identify an element. You have to use a find element method. So this find element method, you have to pass an argument. So the locator name, that is, so ID of ID value, name of name value, class name of class value, CSS selector of CSS value, XPath of XPath value, link text, partial link text. These methods you have to pass an argument to the find element method. Find element method will find the one element in this browser. So this find element method is a return type method which returns a web element. Find element method is a finding the element based on the given locator in the browser that returns a web element. So the data type of find element is a web element interface. The data type of find element is a web element interface it returns. So now the syntax is, so how can you identify the element in the, so using the WebDriver method, which method you need to use to identify the web element? Using find element method. So which method you need to use to identify the element in the web page? Find element method. So for a find element method, we need to use the locators. You can identify an element by ID. You can identify an element by name. You can identify an element by class. You can identify an element by link text or partial link text or by XPath or by CSS selector or by tag name. So these are the locators you can use to identify the element. So find element method will return a web element type interface. So what is the return type of find element? Web element interface. So web element is an interface again. Web element is an interface again. So web element is an interface. So we always write a return type, right? Return type, that variable name equal to object reference, the reference dot find element method. And for a find element method, what you need to pass? All these locators are available in which class? Yesterday I told you, in the by class. In the by class. So by class, then that static method. So this is the argument you have to pass to the find element method. Okay. So now, so let's go and write one by one. And I will identify this element by ID and by this rediff mail ID, right? So I'm identifying rediff mail ID by ID. So using this, copy this. Which element you want to identify? That element. So I'm identifying element by ID. So I have to write web element first. Web element. So element name. What is the element name? Rediff mail ID. ID, and you have to give a name. What is the name? Edit box. So this name you will get in the, you can see here. So this is the mail. This is the name. This control name is rediff mail ID. So rediff mail ID edit box. What type of element? Edit box equal to driver dot. Driver is a reference variable dot. I am identifying that element by find element method. And for find element is the argument. You have to pass a parameterized method. So by, so ID is the, and what is the ID value? You copied from HTML. That ID value you have to pass. See, find element method, one bracket. That bracket is ending here. ID is also method. That bracket started here and ending here. So that's how the syntax you have to write to identify an element that it returns. Then similar way, by name. Similar way, you can identify the same element by name. So what is that? Password edit box. So I will identify password edit box. Not same element, but different element I'm identifying. This element. So this password edit box. If you want to identify on that first. See, you have a name is PSWD. So I'm identifying password edit box using a name, and you give the name value. Okay. So this is the one. Similar way, you can identify by class. So how can you identify again? By class. So what is the locator name? By class name. If you're identifying an element, so where is the class? Take this class. Or I will take this form control, but what is this? Email input. So whichever you want, I will use this one. So there is a toggle password is there. I can use class this one. So I icon. I will identify I icon. I icon. Password I icon. So maybe you can write password I icon. So by class name. By class name. And you can give a class value. So this is how you can identify elements by ID, by name, by class. So next. So I want to identify an element. So there is a button, right? Or link. I can identify a link by this. So link. So link name I am taking. Link name by link text. So web element. So forgot password link equal to driver dot find element by link text. So I'm giving link text is a method. So I have to pass that the link name, exact link name I am passing. So that is the how to pass. And one more, you want to identify partial link text. So only for these two are the partial link text and link text are only for link only. Partial link text. You can give a partial link text means either you can give complete or you can give partial. See, I can give only partial. I don't want to give complete. I can remove that. So that's a link text and partial link text. So difference. So this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locators I have covered. And tomorrow I'll explain CSS. But you have to take your own website and write and send me this entire thing. So how to identify an element in the WebDriver, and what are this each browser, what is the browser class, what is the WebDriver. So these things you have to explain tomorrow. Okay. First, I will ask these things. Okay.